Alright, so in today's video, we're diving into everything we know so far about Honkai Star Rail version 3.5. From new characters and reworked reruns to system changes, free cosmetics, and even a brand new location, there's a ton to unpack. Whether you're a day one trailblazer or someone who just picked up the game, this update is shaping up to be one of the most meta-shifting patches we've seen in a while, especially if you're a fan of DOT comps or speed-based team rotations. So let's break it all down, piece by piece, and I'll also sprinkle in my own thoughts along the way. 3.4 second phase banners are finally here, and you can save up to 25% on these banners at lootbar.gg. And for Firefly Rerun, you can use the code FIREFLY at checkout to get an extra 5% off. Here, I can buy 3,280 Oneiric Shards for $40, while it costs $50 in-game. I just enter my UID and select a server. I received the Shards right away on my account. Besides Honkai, you can also top up in Genshin, and Lootbar has over 50,000 satisfied users. I regularly use Lootbar for my giveaways, so I can personally recommend it. Use my link in the description for an additional 10% discount. Let's start with the two brand new 5-star characters, because they're probably the most exciting part of this patch. First up is Hysilens, a physical element character who walks the path of nihility. And she is all in on damage over time. I mean, if you've been running Kafka or Black Swan lately, you already know how oppressive DOT setups can be. But Hysilens takes that entire strategy and builds an actual engine around it. Her kit, based on the latest closed beta changes, is centered around setting up and detonating multiple damage over time effects efficiently. One of the big changes recently is that her ultimate no longer costs 130 energy. It's been reduced to 110, which is a big deal for ultimate uptime. But what's really game-changing is that her ultimate now detonates all active DOTs on enemies for 150% of their remaining damage. This was previously tied to her Eidolons, but now it's part of her base kit, which is a huge quality of life and power increase. She also creates a field when she uses her ultimate. Inside this field, enemies get their attack and defense reduced, and they take additional physical damage over time every turn. Oh, and she also refunds a skill point when she uses it. So, yeah, she's not just applying pressure, she's managing resources too. Her talent adds even more spice, automatically applying random status effects like bleed, burn, shock, or wind shear, depending on luck, which means she's constantly setting up detonation potential for Kafka or other nihility units. From what I've seen, she's not a support unit in the traditional sense. She's more like the core driver of a fully synergized DOT team. If you already built Kafka, Hysilens looks like she's going to slot in perfectly and elevate that entire comp. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, we've got Cerydra, a wind element character who follows the path of harmony. And while harmony characters are usually known for sitting in the back line and throwing out buffs, Cerydra plays much more aggressively, and that's what makes her so interesting. Her whole kit is built around a system called military merit. She gives this merit to allies using her skill, and once she's accumulated enough charges, she enters a state called nobility. In nobility, her critical damage skyrockets, and she gets to copy her skill without spending any skill points, which, as we all know, is super valuable in fast rotation teams. Cerydra's Eidolons push her even further into that elite buffer category. At her first Eidolon, she gives Defense Ignore to the buffed ally, and at her 6th Eidolon, yeah, I know that's far off for most players, she gives the entire team all-type resistance penetration and triggers bonus wind damage hits. Now, I want to talk about reruns, because, yeah, reruns aren't always exciting, but in this case, they absolutely are. Both Kafka and Silverwolf are coming back, and they're not coming back untouched. They're getting buffs that actually shift how they work in team comps, which is pretty rare. Let's start with Kafka. Her skill now applies damage over time effects to every enemy hit, not just the main target. That's a massive change for multi-target situations. Her talent also got reworked. It now triggers not only on her basic attacks, but on any attack from allies, which makes her damage application much more consistent. And thanks to a new bonus ability tied to her traces, she can now reset her talent's follow-up count and ensure it applies all active DOTs. What this means in practice is that Kafka no longer feels like a wait for the perfect moment kind of unit. She's now way more stable, and her value in long fights or AoE encounters has skyrocketed. It's like she finally graduated from niche tech pick to mainline core unit. Then there's Silverwolf, who arguably got the biggest glow-up in this patch. Her ultimate now hits all enemies and applies defense reduction across the board. No more single-target limitations. Her skill has also been updated so it always applies the correct weakness type based on your first team slot, instead of randomly implanting a type. That makes her much more predictable and easier to build around. On top of that, she now generates energy at the start of battle and every turn, which helps a lot with ultimate rotations. Her talent was also updated. It now applies defense reduction every turn, and she has a new trace that converts effect hit rate into bonus attack, capped at 50%. That turns her into more than just a quantum enabler. She becomes a reliable AoE debuffer and energy battery for your whole team. Now, even outside of combat systems, there's some really cool stuff coming in 3.5. One of the big quality of life changes is the relic synthesis optimization. When crafting relics, the game will now automatically suggest the best stat combinations based on the character you're targeting. So no more second-guessing whether you need crit rate or break effect or whatever. The system does the matching for you. It's especially nice for newer players or anyone trying to gear up alts. We're also getting a new map zone, and this place looks amazing. From the leaked images, it has this majestic, almost Greco-Roman architectural style, massive temples, shimmering blue skylines, and a ton of verticality. There are even underground caverns with glowing crystals and what looks like ancient ruins. I don't know about you, but I'm hoping for more exploration-based puzzles, and maybe some lore drops tied to the Aeons. It reminds me a little of how Xianzhou Luofu's second zone added deeper world-building on top of the main quest line. There's also a new event coming, though it hasn't been officially confirmed by HoYoverse yet. Based on leaked visuals, it's themed around a restaurant or food festival, kind of like the meme-heavy marketing event we got during the anniversary. And yes, for the cosmetics collectors out there, Hysilens and Cerydra are both getting special phone cases, which honestly look amazing. One has this ocean scale pattern that probably ties into Hysilens' sea-themed lore, and the other is this surreal, abstract hug between dark and light, almost symbolic of Cerydra's duality as both a ruler and a warrior. Small detail, but I know some of y'all love that kind of flavor content. So yeah, all in all, version 3.5 feels like a love letter to DOT fans and speed rotation enjoyers alike. Hysilens and Kafka feel like a dream team that just feeds off each other's mechanics, while Cerydra opens up new synergy paths for fast comps. Silverwolf's buffs give her a new role beyond quantum niche, and even Kafka, who already had strong value, just got even more consistent and flexible. Plus, the free stuff and QOL updates round out the patch in a really satisfying way. But now I want to hear from you. Are you planning to go all in on Hysilens and Kafka, or are you saving for Cerydra's support potential? And how do you feel about reruns getting reworks? Is it something HoYoverse should keep doing? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if you want to stay up to date with everything Honkai Star Rail, from leaks to official news to in-depth team breakdowns, don't forget to subscribe. I've got more content on the way. Catch you in the next one. Save up to 25% on the current banners at lootbar.gg. All you need is your UID and server. The link is in the description.